Hello, and welcome to another mandatory summer school episode of We Only Look Thin.
Oh, no.
I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I have lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for over 7 years. I am a Tiny Habit certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach, and may or may not have served mandatory summer school time. And with me today is
Donald Weigel, and I have lost about 100 pounds. I have kept it off for about 7 years, and I never, thankfully, had to go to summer school.
Oh, well, la-di-da. That was going to be one of my questions. Donald, it is the month of June. So you are telling me right now that you have never had to serve summer school?
That is correct. Look, I was up until my senior year of high school, when I kind of had already gotten into college and
my name's Donald.
And just sort of checked out. I was a real goody two-shoes student.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we met at the right time because I don't know that we would have been in the same classes.
Yeah, probably not.
You were advanced placement. So what did you do with your summers then, Donald?
Nerd stuff.
I know you slept in. You were a sleep-in guy.
Yeah, I was definitely back then a stay up late, sleep in kind of guy. Lots of Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. When I was a kid, I did actually play baseball and stuff, but when I got into my teen years, it was almost all nerd stuff.
Very interesting. So this is the part where you asked me if I ever had.
Oh, sorry. I just you were sort of implying that you had. Did you ever serve mandatory summer school?
You know, I'm really after 20. Actually, by the time this is going to air, we've been married 27 years.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we will have had our wedding anniversary.
We will have. Yeah. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations. Assuming we made it.
For sticking with it.
I'm assuming we made it.
I did, funny you should ask, have summer school. I think only once. It was for math. And, but the other cool kids were kind of also doing it. And we all were hating it together. So
the other cool kids? So you were a cool kid.
No,
is what you're saying.
No, I wasn't. No, I had. It was in early days. I think it was probably my freshman year. I had to retake math, and my excuse, for failing math, was that I was sitting on the right side of the classroom. Okay, listen, here we go.
This sounds like,
And the teacher was left-handed and was writing on the board left-handed.
With their back to you?
With their back to me, and I could not see what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, that is the single reason that I failed math.
Yeah, that tracks.
And as I am saying it,
that is the kind of thing a cool kid would say, would excuse as an excuse.
Well, you know, and I as our teen sometimes makes my dog ate my homework excuses.
Yes.
I am also recognizing that in myself of I am not sure how my parents' eyes didn't roll all the way back in their head when I was but he was left-handed. What was I to do?
Yeah, no, you had no options there at all.
Yeah, but at about that same time, the Mark Harmon film, I think it was called Summer School.
It was called Summer School, yeah. Yeah, I was going to bring it up, but I didn't want to step on anything you had planned.
But Mark Harmon with his I believe he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt and board shorts and sunglass Ray-Bans.
Yeah, he was as much of a delinquent as the students. I think if I remember right, he had to do summer school. It was punishment for him.
For him too.
Yeah.
It was, but I think they rode skateboards at one point and they had a cool time.
Yeah, and they watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's a nice thing.
Two of the kids were real horror aficionados, or they're just big into horror movies, and they ended up as like a treat at the end of summer, all watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wow.
I don't know why I remember that so well.
I don't either, but I was very disappointed to see that my summer school teacher was not Mark Harmon. They gave me movies once again, gave me a false sense of security about what to expect at summer school. But I think as we're grown up now, right?
I mean, we play them on podcasts.
We play them on podcasts. We're all grown-ups. If you're listening to this, you're probably a grown-up. And we are entering, or as this is coming out, it is the month of June. And this is sort of the official start to summer, everyone. We have gotten through spring, the ice has thawed, the blooms have bloomed, and now we find ourselves at the beginning of summer.
Yeah.
And when we are entering a new season, it reminds me of that like school's out for summer song, no more teachers, no more books, whatever. Everybody's throwing their books into the air like they just don't care. And we feel like we are escaping into a new season. And sometimes it is a good idea to ask yourself if you are running away from your school gear habits into your real true self of summer, or are you actually going to embrace your habits into the summer season?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when we are austere with our habits, when we feel like we're white knuckling and we're just trying to scrape through, we feel like a new season is a time to escape into who we really are.
Yeah.
And I know I did that for years with my habits. If I was being really strict on a diet, and then I know we've talked about it before, but then we would like go to Las Vegas for our anniversary. And the minute we got off the plane, I was just at Cinnabon.
Right.
Like I was like, I will not get my luggage, thank you. I am going to Cinnabon.
Taking a vacation or like a weekend away was definitely a vacation from any healthy habits. It was definitely not a vacation with any healthy habits. And I think that we have this tendency to, no matter what time of year it is, we say things like, well, it's really cold outside. I can't possibly like exercise now. I need to like eat warm, comforting foods. And then it warms up and we're like, well, it would really be a shame to like waste all this nice weather with, eating healthy and exercise. I have to take a vacation. I have to like live my best life because it's summer. It's vacation. Nobody like eats well and worries about exercise on vacation.
Right. It's like limited time offer. And so we are going to ask you, dear listeners, to come on a little mind vacation with Donald Weigel, Catherine Weigel, and our good friend Gretchen Rubin. That's right. We're invoking Gretchen Rubin.
Invoking? Okay. Summoning. Gretchen Rubin, we summon you.
We summon thee. So we are going to invite you to engage actively in your summer by considering Gretchen Rubin's loopholes. That's right, everybody. Back by popular demand, it is Gretchen Rubin's loopholes.
Yes,
and
indeed.
On this episode, we are going to cover 5 of the summer loopholes that you might be using against your goals. And then next week, we're going to finish up with the final 5.
Yeah, and a loophole, for those who don't know, like you know about tax loopholes, but or at least you think you do. You've heard of them. A loophole is basically a lie that you tell yourself to give you an internal excuse to not do the thing that you say you want to do, or in our case, to take a break or to take a vacation from a healthy habit that you had intended to engage in.
Well, and I'm sure as you heard me say that I failed math because of where I was sitting in the room.
That's right.
And you were just
That's a great example.
Holy smokes, Catherine. Like, oh, gee whiz, why weren't you, summa cum laude. I was nothing cum laude. Nothing happened.
No, summa is the best one.
Oh, summa's the best one? Yeah, it was none of the best ones.
Yeah.
But when we hear others invoke loopholes, they sound ridiculous, but we often are blind to our own rationalization for escaping from our habits. So, like I said, we are going to cover 5 of the loopholes in this episode. As you are listening to us, dear listener, see how it applies to you. Which ones do you kind of cringe at and feel like you're being personally attacked? Because it's an opportunity to really assess how you are going to approach these summer months.
Yeah, you may not invoke all of these loopholes, but you might. And you almost definitely, you've done one or more of them.
Exactly. So we are going to start out with the false choice loophole, this or that loophole. So I can't work out this summer because the kids are home from school. Like, who has time to work out?
Yeah.
Another might be I can't track because I'm on vacation. I can't run because it's too hot. I can't plan because I don't know what they're serving at the event. I do not know how many times people have said, or me, people, I'm people, of like, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to their house. I don't know what there's going to be. You know what food is. You're like, right now, you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old. You know that food happens. You basically understand like chemical compounds and know what potato salad is. Like, there's no big surprise.
Yeah.
So we use this sort of this or that justification for skipping habits. So again, I can't work out because I'm so busy watching the kids. Hey, guess what? Jump in the pool with the kids. Go on a walk with the kids. My aunt actually used to do a thing where we would go on walks with cousins, and she would ask everyone to find a white lucky rock. And the kids, I remember my cousin's kids were like, "Why is it lucky?" And she said, "Well, because you found it." So riddle me that, everybody.
She was right.
That's pretty deep. But I can't track because I'm on vacation. Frankly, I don't track when I'm on vacation, but I set policies in place, which we'll talk about later. I pump up the volume. I make policies about when I'm going to eat certain foods. So just because a circumstance is true doesn't mean we can't adapt and pivot our habits. Again, I can't run because it's too hot. Okay, if summer is too hot to run outside, maybe this is the season where you join the gym, you find indoor activities. Or again, if the weather is lovely and it's time to do outside activities, drop the gym for the summer and do outside activities. Again, we don't have to be rigid about sticking to one specific habit for 365 days a year. We can adapt our habits to the season. And then again, I can't plan because I don't know what they're serving. Like, we basically know what food is. If we're at an event for a couple of hours, we know what we can do before the event and after the event. I didn't get to, 100 pounds more than I weigh today because I didn't know that people were serving potato salad at parties, right? Like, that is putting the blame on the math teacher instead of moving where I'm sitting in the class. So taking accountability for yourself means having a mindset of, I don't know, but I can pivot. I don't know, but I have so many tools around me as a grown-up adult where I can make choices for myself. So again, watch out for that this or that. I can't do this because I'm doing that. We can change it to I'm doing this, and so I can adapt by doing this other thing. So watch out.
I think that we like to think we have no choice.
Yeah. It's fun.
And because then it excuses us from our behavior in the end.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one is the moral licensing loophole. And that is the idea that I've been good all week, so I deserve this extra margarita and plate of nachos.
Right, exactly.
So in other words, you feel as if you've been sticking to your plan and doing all of the right things, and so then you feel like it's okay because you've been so good, in air quotes, that you are able to indulge. And ordinarily we do that to a point of way excess indulgence. And then for a lot of us, me included, then I will be like, well, I've already done it this one day. Why don't I do it the next day?
Right.
And or wow, I really blew it. So, why should I go back to my plan? I've already blown it. I may as well just keep eating and drinking as much as I want.
Exactly. And I think with the moral licensing, that comes from being really rigid with our non-event calories, our plan. We decide we're only going to eat clean, or we're going to eat at a super big deficit. And we make our plan so austere that we don't allow for indulgences. So the alternative for that reward at the end of the week, or that cheat day, or that, going all out, is deciding on ways that you can include things that you enjoy in your plan in a way that fits your budget. Again, we can eat at maintenance on weekends. We can plan to have a cocktail on a Friday. We can plan on going to an event and deciding in advance what we're going to have. Oh, we're going to the fair this weekend. I'm going to enjoy the funnel cake. I'm not just going to go to every single booth and stuff myself, but I'm going to enjoy the thing that I know that I really enjoy. It's not cheating. It's not splurging. It's including things in your plan that make you feel satisfied and like you can enjoy it. I went to Burger King with our teen the other day and got a Diet Coke that could have filled the gas tank. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I felt like I was enjoying a vacation. But she got the Happy Meal. And I know Burger King doesn't have Happy Meals. They have King Meals or whatever. But I got the Diet Coke and I got a small fry. And it was fun and indulgent and it fit my plan. It wasn't a in the dark of night when in a neighborhood where no one goes to sneaking around. I just enjoyed it in a way that fit my plan. And it feels so much better. And hey, I am losing weight and I am also enjoying French fries. That is much better than I'm going to blow it and I deserve it. And this is the real me, peeking out. We're not captive. We have the opportunity to embrace our plans. So no moral licensing, everybody.
Yeah, and just on a sort of slightly related note, you and I recently, as a treat, went through the Burger King drive-thru, and all we got, you got a Diet Coke, I got a Coke Zero, and that's all we got. But
that's right. I forgot about that.
It felt like a nice little treat. Oh, it's the Burger King drive-thru, even though it ended up in 0 calories.
Exactly. No, hey, I forgot. Good job for us. We had a good time.
We did do that.
Fun times with the Waggles. You want to hear what I did crazy?
Oh, we went through the Burger King drive-thru and got diet sodas.
Ooh, but you know what we didn't do? We didn't get a soda for our teen who was at home, because you only get a soda if you go out with us.
If you leave your room.
If you leave your room.
That's
so
the only,
too bad for you, teen. Okay, so number 3 on the loophole wheel, I guess,
it's a wheel.
Is the tomorrow loophole, which Donald just said he invoked. So again, I'll go back on my diet after my vacation. So until then, I'm going to completely load up. Again,
and this sort of, it manifests itself more commonly or very commonly in the I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start next week. And then next week never comes. You just keep using an excuse like, oh, well, I've got a dinner on Tuesday, so I'm going to wait till the following Monday to start. Oh, I've got people coming to town this weekend, so why should I start this week? I'll just start next week, and I'll start tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is always a day away.
Oh, no.
Or whatever Annie said.
Right. Oh, I'll sing it at you if you don't.
Yeah.
So I think Donald has talked about it before, that idea of don't dig yourself deeper before you dig yourself out.
Yeah.
And the more we dig ourselves into unhelpful habits, the more entrenched we become, the harder it is to get out of it when you've just been eating poorly for a whole week, a whole month. And when we say, oh, I'll start tomorrow, like we're magically going to get it all out of our system, that doesn't happen. We can make helpful choices even in the middle of a vacation, at a barbecue, on a week off. We don't have to just completely divorce ourselves from our habits. So again, for me, and we've done full episodes on this, I set standards in place for myself or policies about what things I do want to control, not because it's a punishment, but because I know it makes me feel better. So again, when I'm on vacation, I can still have a policy of not having alcohol until after 5 p.m. When I'm on vacation, and I honestly do this now because I really don't track on vacation, is I set a standard for myself of I am going to seek out vegetables. I'm going to seek out a salad. I'm going to seek out fruit and just make that part of my like pump up the volume plan because yeah, I don't know where we're going to go or what we're going to do, but I know that fruit and vegetables exist in the world. Again, I know I can still.
Do they? Prove it.
So I might not go to the gym at the hotel, but I can still sneak in like going swimming, or we can walk to the Starbucks and keep active and get neat non-exercise activity thermogenesis by just living in a way that looks for opportunities to make helpful choices. When we go to a timeshare, we'll bring our own food with us. Like we don't just use it as an excuse to just like load up on pancakes and beer in the morning as people do. People do that, right?
Yeah,
pancake and beer.
The pancake and beer breakfast as we used to have at the firehouse when I was growing up.
Exactly. So just look for ways to add foods that make you feel good so that you don't feel like garbage after 3 days of just going on some like pancake and beer bender. Again, set flexible goals like I'm going to get in a walk every morning. I'm going to go to the pool. Even though we're out of our normal schedule, I can still get activity. So that is that. Tomorrow is today. Don't think about Annie. That's
right.
Now all you're doing is thinking about Annie.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
And her little dog Toto or whatever his name was.
Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. That's
Sandy's
right.
his name. If you please.
Oh boy.
I'll sing it.
All right, we're gonna like have to pay licensing fees for the song now.
Oh my gosh,
right,
I love that song. That's way better than Tomorrow. Okay.
All right, so that really does lead us right into the next one, which is the lack of control loophole, which Catherine gave some good examples. That's sort of they only had junk food at the party, so I had no choice.
What am I gonna do?
Eat the junk food. But we are adults who, as Catherine said, we know what potato salad is. we know that it might be there. We can bring our own snacks. We can call hosts ahead of time and ask them what they're going to have. We can plan to bring something that is on our plan and make it look like we're being good guys because we're bringing good stuff to the party. We can plan by packing our own stuff for the road trip. We can plan to not run so many errands that we get so hungry that we have no choice but to stop at the fast food drive-thru and not just get diet sodas, but get the giant king meal. We can also plan to stop and get that fast food, but only get the small fry and the small burger and keep it within our plan. We do have a lot more control over our lives and a lot more control over what we put in our mouths than we like to think that we do.
Exactly. And if we go back to my sitting on the wrong side of the math classroom example, Donald, can you think of one thing I could have done in math class that might have improved my situation?
You could have hooked up a series of mirrors that allowed you to be able to see around the teacher's back to the board. Or you could have asked to move seats.
Yeah. No, that was funny.
Could have been one thing.
But
that would have been more boring.
But as everyone was listening to that, you're like, really? You were sitting on the right side of the room? Like, move to the left. And as silly as it sounds, we stand on the right side of our plans and act like we're victim to it when we mostly can get around and make accommodations. And when we start advocating for ourselves and taking responsibility for our math acumen and our habit acumen, like that's where the power comes in. That's where we start realizing that like this is our summer and we can bring our own habits, BYO habits, to the summer rather than just throwing our hands up and saying that we have no choice.
That summer school really paid off for you, by the way. Math acumen. Ooh,
I know. It's
very educated. Yeah.
But I think even when someone, and I think, you know, we go into certain routines or we have certain rituals around vacations or parties of, wow, well, you always used to make the best like lemon bars, or you always used to make the best potato salad. Everyone's counting on me to bring the potato salad. Like I'm known for whatever. Back when we started our joint venture, I started bringing giant piles of beautiful cut watermelon and blueberries and strawberries instead of, you know, the indulgent treat. And then I became known as the person who made the beautiful fruit salad instead. Yeah. And we can change our identities. Just because people have expectations doesn't mean that those expectations don't change. And the more we bring our authentic selves with watermelon to events, other people are then inspired to do that as well. If we are all on this like Ouija surfboard, I guess, of like enabling one another's unhelpful habits, like we're just perpetuating those habits. But if we start bringing healthy habits to situations, going for walks at the beach house instead of just sitting inside with everybody, you know, the beach house that we go to, like in MTV. But if we start bringing healthy habits, other people will bring healthy habits too. So
before you move on, there's two things. In one, you were known, I was trying so hard not to interrupt you. You are known in certain circles as Watermelon Sally now. Yeah. Number one. And two, a surf Ouija board. You can hang 10 with the other side.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I really felt like I had to get that in.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your patience in all of that.
All right. So what's the last loophole for this episode, dude?
Okay. So the last one is the planning to fail loophole.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I didn't plan to eat at the fair, but now that I'm here, I guess I will. I didn't plan to eat anything at the party, but I guess I'm here, so what am I going to do?
Yeah.
There are so many times that we put ourselves in situations where we're underprepared, we haven't eaten, we haven't looked at the menu, we haven't, given ourselves time to even think about how we're going to address a situation, that we just plan to fail. Again, going to Disneyland, which we do often. Sometimes we do sometimes often do that.
Sometimes often.
If we go in with like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I want to eat. I have no idea what my priority is. I have no idea how I'm going to get in exercise when we're on vacation. And then we just say, well, then I guess I'm not going to do anything. And we just give in to every single whim. We're just setting ourselves up for failure. Again, we've done episodes, 365 surprises. If every single food opportunity or event is a surprise after I'm 50 years old, it's no longer a surprise.
Yeah.
It is no longer a surprise that I have the opportunity to sit on the side of the room where I can see the board where people write on, which they used to do. It was made of chalk. Like when we keep acting like we're shocked that food, like that we're hungry, that we're going to places, when we act like a victim, at some point it just becomes kind of like, I don't want to say pathetic. I just said pathetic. I guess I'm going to say pathetic. Of like, we can advocate for ourselves. And when we don't, and we keep repeating the same unhelpful behavior over and over again, like we're not learning anything. No wonder we're going back to summer school over and over again.
Yeah, I think that we deep down, we want to act like we can't plan for these things. We want to act like it's beyond our control, that there's nothing that we can do. But we're adults who are problem solvers. Think about all of the hard things that you've done and accomplished. You can do this too. You can plan to figure out how to stay on a plan when you're in all of these situations. You know that they're going to come up. And so have some policies in place. If I find myself magically at a party that I wasn't expecting to go to, I eat the vegetables first. I fill up on the salad. I stick to the water. I look at everything that's there before I just start grabbing things and shoving stuff in my mouth. There are things that you can do to plan ahead to make sure that you don't just go bananas every time.
Well, and I think too that I used to be the person who would just hang out around the food table, like just hanging out there, seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, who else is going to eat the, artichoke dip? Be the person that hangs out, at the horseshoe area, or I don't know what other games people, the giant oversized Jenga.
Cornhole.
Keeping your hands busy matters. Keeping yourself busy matters. And I think too that planning to fail thing also falls into, well, I didn't bring walking shoes. I can't do that. Well, I didn't bring water shoes. Well, I didn't bring my bathing suit. Well, I didn't bring, when we set ourselves up for failure by either dressing inappropriately, well, I didn't bring any workout clothes. I can't go. I can't do that. When we set ourselves up for failure like that, what we're doing kind of, maybe we know it or we're not even really aware of it. That's called unconsciously. When we do that, well, gee, shucks, golly, I had no idea. This is not your first summer.
Such language.
I know. This is not your first class. This is not your first summer. This is not your first party or picnic or rodeo. We know from experience. Think about last summer. Think about the last time you went on vacation. We've done episodes pre-mortem and post-mortem, I think, where we talk about what did you learn the last time? What did you learn about yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a sunburn. Are you bringing sunscreen this time? If you don't, again, that's shame on you, everybody. So again, as you're considering your summer ahead, as you're considering your June and July, think about last year. What went well for you last summer and why? What did you prepare for? What did you plan? Conversely, where did you fall on your face? Where did you fail? What did you learn from it? Because if we keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and then blaming the professor instead of taking accountability for ourselves, we're just going to end up in mandatory summer school again and then be resentful of it because I should be enjoying myself and everybody else gets to have a good time and I'm sitting in class. But we have the opportunity to really invest in ourselves and not just do it like we're paying penance, but that we're actually making this part of our identity as someone who can enjoy themselves, adapt, pivot, maybe modify. Maybe it's not the best solution, but still being able to enjoy some indulgences while still sticking to your plan feels so much better than just feeling like you're under a court mandated order to lose weight. We are doing this to invest in ourselves. So again, think about the 5 loopholes that we have talked about today. The false choice loophole. I can't do this because I'm doing that. The moral licensing loophole. I was so good all week. I deserve XYZ. Think about the tomorrow loophole. Think about little orphan Annie.
That's right.
And her dog Sandy.
Her dog Toto.
Oh, you don't even know what dogs are. But instead of planning for that tomorrow and digging yourself deeper, what can you do today to adapt and enjoy? And then get rid of that stinking thinking lack of control loophole. Bring your own summer plans. Bring your own habits. Adapt and pivot. And then finally, that planning to fail loophole. Imagine me, Kathy Rakowski, walking in to my freshman summer math class. What if I showed up without a pen, without paper, without my notebook, without the syllabus? Imagine walking into your summer. What are you prepared with? What do you know about yourself? How are you setting yourself up for success? Because the more we advocate for ourselves, the more planning we can do and the more pivoting we can do, the more we will raise to the top of the class. Which was, I think that that was a TV show.
Head of the class.
Head of the class.
Head of the class. That's right.
Exactly.
If you show up without your syllabus, you're basically getting on the silly bus. I don't know.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know. Look.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
These are the jokes, everyone.
Oh boy.
All right. Thank you very much for listening. One thing is going right with your summer. You are listening to episodes of this podcast, and we have a whole lot more of them available wherever you found this one. We are on all of the major podcast platforms, and they have the most recent 300 episodes. But if you want to go back all the way to the beginning, you can find every episode on YouTube or on our website at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep, and if you're at our website, please click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about Wolt Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. Not only are we a Facebook group, though, it's a private group. Nobody can see what you're doing on there except the other members. There's amazing support and accountability, but we also do habit challenges, which we just finished one that went really, really well. Mm-hmm. And I also do weekly Zoom meetings. I actually have one in 1 American hour
you
that
sure
I
do.
am doing. Not only are we a Facebook group, but I also do weekly Zoom sessions with coaching and other deep dives on conversations like this for members. You get one-on-one, sometimes a connection with me and other people on their journey venture. So please give us a try. We have a monthly membership with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if Wolt Place is right for you.
Yeah, so please check it out. And you can also check us out on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at We Only Look Thin. Or you can send us an email if you have episode suggestions, if you want to talk about some of the ways that you have gotten out of the habit of invoking loopholes, or some ways in which loopholes have tripped you up. Or if you have, ideas for other episodes, if you have questions for us, you can do all of those things by writing to weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep, and if you have a couple of extra minutes, please leave us a rating and a review anywhere that ratings and reviews are taken. On a I don't know, your Olive Garden, how did you enjoy your meal menu? Wherever it is, Apple Podcast.
Yeah, especially Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Because that helps us the most.
Yeah, Spotify, wherever you can leave a rating and a review, please let us know that what we're doing after all of these years, after all of these episodes, is making a difference for you. It really does. Let us know that what we're doing, like, honestly, me and Donald, like, we are doing this. We are not AI. We are people. And it means a lot to know that what we're doing is making an impact on your journey venture. And it also helps others find our podcast as well. So do it up.
Yes, please. And another thing you can do that will help us out is to tell somebody about the show. If you are in a conversation and it comes up, or if you know someone who might get something out of the show and you tell them about us, it really helps the show grow. Or if you are on the internet, if you're in a Facebook group or a Discord server or a subreddit, and it makes sense to give us a shout out, we would be grateful, because it really does help the show grow.
Yep.
So if you came to this podcast hoping that it was going to be Mark Harmon talking about Gretchen Rubin's loopholes, and instead discovered it was Catherine and I, please remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.